like a lot of people, I was really looking forward to Disenchanted. I'm a big fan of Enchanted, and I love Disney villains, so I thought this was going to combine quite a lot of things that I loved. And I have to say, I'm really thrilled with it. I don't have as many thoughts about it as some people because I didn't have that many expectations. I was just looking for a good film, and it really did deliver. But I will talk about the things that I liked and anything that maybe didn't work for me, but to be honest, there's only really one thing that didn't work for me. The rest of it I thought was pretty fabulous. Quite surprised to see it's only got 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb, because I honestly think it deserves a lot more. It was, of course, released this year, 2022, directed by Adam Shankman, and we have Amy Adams as Giselle and Patrick Dempsey as Robert. We also have Gabriella Baldacchino as Morgan, and I will talk about Maya Rudolph's character in a moment. And Giselle and her husband Robert and their two children move to a quaint little village. And Morgan is not very happy about this. She doesn't want to leave New York. And when they get there, everybody's just not in a great mood. The house is having a little bit of problems. And Giselle wishes that things were a lot more like the magical world that she grew up in and knew and loved. And this wish comes true. And suddenly everything there is like her happy ever after fairy tale world. But that is sucking a lot of the magic from Andalasia, and that in itself is causing problems, and there's a race against the clock, and if this isn't fixed, Giselle will become bad and evil forever. And we see her kind of teetering on the edge of this, and she begins to become a very dark character. She begins to take on this wicked stepmother persona, but every now and then we see a glimmer of the original Giselle in there, and it goes back and forth as we see her being very sweet and kind, and you're never quite sure which personality she's going to bring forward, unless she's in the presence of Malvina, who is played by Maya Rudolph, and she takes the role of the classic Wicked Queen, and she is fabulous. And that goes without saying, because Maya Rudolph is amazing, and just watching Maya Rudolph and Amy Adams perform together is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. The film does mention quite a lot that it's unusual to have two villains in a fairy tale setting, and it works so well. And they're competing with each other, and they're dark and amazing, and their costumes, the costumes are just absolutely incredible. Visually, it is such a stunning film, and I'm not just talking about the special effects. The special effects are phenomenal, and I did thoroughly enjoy them, but visually, the costumes, the colours, the set designs, everything is just absolutely visually gorgeous. It's colossal. I'm not sure what the budget was, but certainly the budget would have been very high. It definitely feels like a big budget production, and the performances go along with that. Idina Menzel is great as Nancy. I loved Yvette Nicole Brown and Jayma Mays as two characters, Rosaleen and Ruby, who are Malvina's kind of sidekicks, and they have a very interesting dynamic that I a lot, and it's absolutely beautiful. I wasn't that emotionally invested in Giselle restoring her ways. I'm not going to say exactly what happens, but I never really cared. If she became evil permanently, so be it. I wasn't too bothered. I'm not so enamored of this character that I needed her to be all sweetness and sugar plums. I just thoroughly enjoyed her performance. I'm a big fan of Amy Adams, and that's just something that I really absolutely loved. I just loved watching her perform as this character, and especially, as I said, alongside Maya Rudolph, both of whom were amazing. It is quite a comedic film now and again. One bit that I absolutely loved, and it took me by surprise, so I guess a tiny spoiler, is the scene immediately after the magic took hold and Morgan came dancing into the kitchen. I was not expecting it. I thought it was absolutely fabulous, and it just took me by surprise, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So the bit that I didn't enjoy the animation. I liked it when Andalasia began to blend into the real world. The real world's maybe not the right word, they're our world. That I thought was very effectively done. And when we had live action on screen at the same time as the animation, absolutely. but I feel like too much of this was just animated, and I don't know, it pulled me out of the film. It didn't really work very well for me. It's not that it wasn't well animated, I just didn't particularly enjoy that aspect of it. So if I'm going to find criticism, that's where it is. Nevertheless, I thought Disenchanted was a beautiful film. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't think it's as good as Enchanted, but sequels rarely are, and I think that's understandable. Really thoroughly enjoyed Amy Adams and Maya Rudolph in this, but everybody gave a really brilliant performance. Visually, absolutely stunning. A very quick film as well. It's actually nearly 2 hours, but it felt quick because it's just so engaging. Really had a lot of fun with it, and if you've been considering seeing it but haven't, definitely check it out. I think it's one, if you liked Enchanted, I think it's one that you'll enjoy.